What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of Positively Uncensored, your favorite reality TV and interview podcast. It's your host, Leah.
Right, everybody. If you can't tell how excited I am, I will tell you. Today, I am pumped. It's a full circle moment. I have had Brandi on my goals list since I started my podcast. Like the moment I started, I was like, I have to talk to Brandi Marshall someday. I'm manifesting it. I'm writing it down.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm so serious. Like I have a list, and like right below you is Kourtney Kardashian. So like, you know, it's like I'm like, that's next. So like obviously no pressure. And obviously that's next for me.
Love that. I love this for you because that's what I do. I literally put things on lists and it's very monumental and it means something when you get there. So I feel you, girl.
Exactly. Like I'm celebrating tonight. I'm so excited. This is a big moment for me. And I'm so honored that you just like took time to chat with me.
Well, you're Team Brandi, so I felt like it was a safe space.
It's the safest space. I am so fiercely Team Brandi. It's uncanny. Like I've been Team Brandi since the jump. And okay, well first let me give you a proper intro before I get too excited. So I want to tell everyone, not only are you a top agent at Oppenheim Group, but you also are the leader of the Sports Division Initiative. You are a mother, you are a wife, and you're chatting with me. So I'm so excited. You're my favorite cast member. It's just like a long time coming. So thank you again.
Of course, thank you. I'm honored. I'm appreciative that you want to talk to me.
Of course. No, I'm so excited. I wanted to start by first of all wishing you a happy Mother's Day because that was yesterday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. And so were you able to do something with Sean, Autumn, and SJ? Were you guys do something cute?
Yeah, me and Autumn went to go get our nails done. SJ, my husband, and Autumn, we also went to dinner at my favorite restaurant, which is Houston's. I absolutely love Houston's. I used to work there like a long, long time ago, so it's like a part of my DNA, I feel like. But yeah, we went to Houston's and then we got our nails done, and then SJ made me like a really cute like thing from school, and it was just like a beautiful day, just relaxation and family time.
Well, your nails look beautiful. Houston's, if I remember, don't they have like a cheddar biscuit or something that's like to die for?
They do. I did not get that, so I don't even know if they still have it on the menu. I didn't see it.
That's so Newport Beach of you. Of course you did. I was just about to say, when I lived in Orange County, so I'm from the Midwest, so I would go out with people who are from Orange County, and we would go to places like Houston's, and I would get the cheddar biscuits and a burger, and they would be getting like salad and lettuce and sushi, and I'm like, like give me the butter. I want the carbs. You can put it on the table.
Ribs. You got to get the ribeye when you go there. Like it's just and the spinach dip. It's mandatory.
I'll note that. I will 100% note that.
Yeah.
I also want to say too, I was thinking of you yesterday because, you know, we got to see a little bit of you grieving after your mother passed, and I was really just wanting you to know that I thought of you yesterday, and I know that it was probably hard for you, but I do hope that you were able to have space and have peace with it, and at least just take time to honor her.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's another reason why, like, last Mother's Day was the first one. This was the second one. And I just prefer to kind of, like, relax, like, and just kind of, like, be at peace. Like, I don't need to be overstimulated, you know what I mean? And, like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And I just want to, take time and just, like, think about her, appreciate her, and appreciate my kids and, everything that she's taught me, and, like, connect with my siblings and stuff. So it was a good day. It's weird because it never gets easier, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's still very much like real and hard to deal with, but you just kind of like learn how to navigate it in a way where it's, you become okay. And I think that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's like you find space, and it's different every day, right? Like some days
absolutely.
Some days you can move through it and find moments to reflect, and some moments something reminds you, and it's just like, it takes it back. So I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you being so vulnerable. I know that so many people can that, and you have been actually the most vulnerable with your family, and that was my favorite thing about you, is that we truly know Brandi's life outside of the show. Very few cast members do we know anything about their personal lives.
And that was a tricky situation for me when going into the show, like even back on season 1, I was like, do I show my kids and my family? Do I just make it about me? Like, because like, what if my kids become a target? Like, what if, you know what I mean? Because you see all these other reality shows and it happens. Like, people's kids get drug into it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, but I just took a risk, and, I also limit how much I post them. Like, I don't really like post my kids that much,
Right.
just to protect them. But yeah, I took a risk, and I was just like, well, this is who I am. Like, I could concoct like a fake storyline for you guys, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but like, no, this is what I do. Like, I'm boring. I'm with my family most of the time. I'm with my kids and my husband, you know what I mean? And I'm like, if people don't like it, whatever, but that's what I do.
I loved it. I loved seeing them help you pack for your trip season 2. I loved seeing your husband call you a grandma, but you're like, I'm a rich grandma though, so like, what of it? I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And like another thing I was going to say too, and I was going to use this as like an early intro. I loved that we got to see that conversation between yourself and your sister, where she was really kind of like, so this was coming after a major moment season 2, and she was like, Brandi, pull it back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, protect yourself. This group is not it. and then we sort of see like season 3, you really do hang back. Like, did your sister's words kind of like sit with you a little?
Yeah, it's not even just my sister's words. Like, yes, what she's saying, what everybody else is saying too, like in my family, but also for me, I cared in season 2 because that's what kind of friend I consider myself to be. Like, I don't have like any superficial friendships or relationships. Like, most of the people who have known me through my life know that like outside of the show, I have like a real group of friends that I've been friends with since we were 13 years old. And we have remained friends all of these years. And do you think that they've done things that I didn't agree with? Absolutely. Do you think they dated somebody or did something that I was just like, he's not the one for you, like that's foul, like you shouldn't do that? Did that end our friendship? No. But that's because it was built off of authenticity, and it was built off of real friendship. So once I realized that we don't want that kind of friendship, we just want the kind of friendship that is like a yes man, essentially. I was like, all right, cool. Like, well, I already said what I had to say. You hate me for it. I'm so sorry, but that's who I am. You know what I mean? And I think that people get that misunderstood because we really didn't know each other, especially season 1. We were all just getting to know each other. We didn't, and you're giving everybody grace, you're giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. But the longer that you're around people, you start to see things that you don't like. And I think once I started voicing my opinion, it's being like, hey, I think that's wrong. Like, I think somebody should say this, you know what I mean? And it was like, I felt so scrutinized for it. And I felt like, well, damn, like, just an opinion. And first of all, we're all on reality TV to give our opinions, right? Like, every single person here has given their opinion about somebody or something. Come on. We're all up in each other's business.
Absolutely. And another thing too. So like, first of all, on one hand, I noticed that, like it's sort of like this awkward place. And I've unfortunately been there before, especially with colleagues or even like above me, like boss, where it's like you're friends. And then all of a sudden you realize like, okay, I thought we were friends. Like, we're more coworkers, and you're not giving me the space to say my feelings. And I have given you the space, but I'm sort of understanding that that's just me and this is you. And then sort of like going through that. And that's awkward. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little awkward when you don't know people and you're trying to say your space and be a good friend, and then you realize it's not really what they want. Yes.
Exactly. And I think the hardest part was realizing that it wasn't about like me just like wanting to put my opinion out there so hard, but I think people don't realize the dynamic of reality TV. If I'm not vocal about my stance in a situation, then it gets edited and put on TV as if I'm basically compliant. They will not show, they're not going to put subtitles underneath and say, Brandi's just not speaking because she doesn't care. They're going to edit it and make it look like I actually comply with that. And
Yes.
representation is really important to me. If you haven't noticed, I recognize my role on this show, that I am the only African American woman on this show and one of the only married women on this show. Or am I the only married woman on the show? I think
Yes. I think you
yeah,
are.
the only married woman on this show. So I just didn't want to be misunderstood either. Like, I didn't want to put out that I'm basically like compliant with something that I'm really not. So I was like, well,
And it was
so
at work. Like I couldn't get over that. Like I couldn't, not to interrupt you, but I couldn't get over the fact that it was at work. The flirtations were happening at work events, and you were the only person who seemed to like acknowledge the fact that like, hey, like we're at a work event, and like now that all of us are being privy to watching this, we're all basically co-signing this, and now like we were brought directly in the middle of it, and I'm not cool with it. But if you want to act like you are, that's good and well. But you were also being so, the thing about you is I can see that you've had friendships since you're 13. Like you're that honest friend. You try to protect your friends. You may not always agree, but you're only coming from, hey, I'm only looking out for you. Yes, love.
it was always coming from love. And like, there's so many scenes that you didn't see where I literally cried because the friendships were breaking up between me and Hall and me and Polly. And I was crying and I was just like, why is it so hard for you to understand like where I'm coming from and like listen, you know what I mean? And it was very much so like, what does what I'm doing have to do with you? And I'm like, well, if you listen, I'm explaining to you why, because everyone else is getting drug into it. This is the Oppenheim Group's reputation. This is a brokerage in OC, which is not that big, and this is like a hell of a public scandal that's going on. You know what I mean? I just would have appreciated a second to be like, I could see how that's frustrating for you. You have to work really hard to like get, you know, a little piece of what we get easily because you're not from here. You know what I mean? Like you don't have
Absolutely.
this like source of people just calling you. So I know that I have to work twice as hard as the people in my office, and I understand that. So I guess I was just trying to add some insight. Hey, can I take a look if you were in my shoes and see how you would feel? You know what I mean?
And it's the privilege to do that too, because you're right. As you're saying, you are the only Black woman in your office, and you couldn't have an office relationship that's a public.
Oh, absolutely not.
You would.
Oh my gosh, do you know that if I were to do the things that are like that were going on on season 1, if I had my mouth on somebody's husband's nose, do you know I would have been blackballed out of Orange County? Like,
100%.
Come on, man. Like they don't understand the privilege, and I guess I was just trying to like open that mindset up. You know what I mean? And when you have friends, I have friends of all different walks of life. I am open to it. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, you can't eat beef. Like, what does me eating beef have to do with you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just very, like, I don't know. So once I realized like what I feel and what I think really doesn't matter, I just kind of like took a step back. And that's why in season 3 you see like I really don't care anymore. The only reason why I cared so much was because I considered myself friends with them. You know what I mean? And if I'm not that friend, that if you out here looking crazy, I'm just about to be sitting here like, not cute. No, I'm gonna tell you immediately no. You know why? Because people like that, when you don't say something to them, years later, they come back and they say, you were fake, you were sitting around.
100%.
You didn't tell me that I looked stupid. Why didn't you tell me? What kind of friend are you? You let me destroy me. You know what I mean? And I'm just 100%. Not that friend. Because I'm that friend that you're going to look back and you're going to be like, Brandi told me.
She told me.
She told me. You know, and that's fine if I'm not your cup of tea, because I'm honest, then I'm just not your cup of tea.
If you want to live in delusion, then don't talk to Brandi. Like, there you go. You don't. And you know, I'm going to jump around a little because you did hit something that a lot of viewers, so I polled viewers because I wanted to see what they wanted to know. And a lot of people are wondering, you know, what is it like being the only Black woman in the office? And I've lived in Orange County, so in kind of Orange County, like what is your...
I think starting out, I had, what is it called? Imposter syndrome. Starting out, I had imposter syndrome. I felt like I didn't belong here. I didn't feel like I was going to find anybody who like really understood me or connected with me or was going to be willing to give me a chance. But I started realizing that that was just fear. That was a mindset that I had the notion of OC, and I was like, I'm not a real housewife of OC. Like, am I going to fit in? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to fit in here. Even when they wanted me for the show, because I got the opportunity to interview here, and they were like, okay, we want to bring you on, and we also want to bring you on the show. I felt like, are you sure? Like, I was just like, how? And I went and watched Sunset, and I was like, there's literally no one on Sunset. This was back before like Chelsea, and I think Amanda was on there, but I was just like, there's no one really on there like me. So like, I don't get it. So it took
Right.
a while for me to overcome that, the imposter syndrome. And if you really pay attention to season one, there's so much imposter syndrome. People were thinking she just goes with the flow. She just is. I was really trying to figure out where I fit into all of this madness and chaos because there was people doing crazy stuff, and I was just like, okay, like, is this what reality TV is? Like, is this, you know what I mean? So I learned to just keep my head down and work. And I have a really strong faith in God. And I just like, great things happen to me. And I just, like I can't wait until you guys find out. He already said that he wants to film on season 4, but Austin and I just got an amazing client, really, really big time client for us. And if we get a season 4, he's down to film, but it's somebody big. And like, this is a type of person that I would have never even imagined myself walking through their home. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just, I just have faith and I just believe in keeping on working. And, some people, because they do have very strong eyes and they're not used to seeing something outside of the norm, I do have to like overcome some challenges. Like I said, I have to work twice as hard. They may see me and be like, oh, she's not from Orange County. You know what I mean? I've been blasted by other agents in Orange County online just for prospecting because they're and they feel like she's from out of town. She has a 310 number. I've had a 310 number for 25 years, right? But that doesn't mean that's because I got that when I used to live in LA. But that doesn't mean that I don't know Orange County now.
Right.
I just don't choose my number. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I get bashed for things like that, or people like, this Brandi girl is coming around, she doesn't even know, so I deal with a lot of adversity and I don't really talk about it or show people. I said, you know what, I'm just going to show and prove. I'm just going to keep working. I'm going to learn this market. I'm going to learn these sellers. I started a charity group that I'm a part of, and now I do charity work in the community, you know what I mean? So I'm just like doing different things to help me get my name out there and to show people why they should work with me, because at the end of the day, people might have a premonition or an idea about something, but once they get to know me, they'll love me and they'll realize that I'm just as qualified as the agent who's 85 that's been selling real estate here forever. You know what I mean? Like, there's no difference in our qualifications. I can learn what they've learned,
And I do hope, that, this is just my hopes. I do hope that people, and especially I guess like your bosses, because that's who that message would be important from. But I hope that it's acknowledged, like you said, that you do have to work 5 times as hard because you are a woman of color in conservative Orange County. And 2, like, there are those microaggressions. What do they really mean when they think that I'm not from here? You know what I mean? And those are things that you're... Yeah. Right. Like it's very coded. You know what I mean? Like a very multiple meaning statement. And those are things that you're hearing, throughout your work week, and you're having to say mind over matter. Like I'm still going to keep going out here and this is me and I know my worth. But I do hope that it is acknowledged. Like, it bothered me when Polly, for example, this season, she seemed like so shocked at the fact that you wanted to bring a sports initiative directive to Orange County. Meanwhile, I Google it, and it's like, yeah, okay, the LA office has one. Tons of real estate offices have
LA office. Most luxury brokerages have this.
Absolutely.
So it's not like unheard of. Like, it's most luxury brokerages have one. And like you said, in LA, they have one. And no one bothers the person. Like, I know him. I've reached out to him when I wanted to do this. Probably like 2 years ago, reached out to him and asked him how to do it here. And no one messes with him in the LA office. He just does what he does, and no one has any problems with what he does.
And he's a white man, you know what I mean? It's very like I said, those are the things that I watch, and I'm like, I hope that they take a step back and at least watch themselves on television. Right. Won't happen. And
that's what I had to start being okay with.
Okay.
It won't happen, and I'm the scapegoat. I'm the villain. I'm the person to blame, and I've just been okay with that, because at the end of the day, like, if you don't have haters, then you're not doing anything. If you don't have people that are, challenging you, then you're not doing anything. So it's a challenge, you know what I mean? But I do want to clear up too, like the sports thing, like, I think people think because I wanted to work with Jason and start figuring out how to start attracting more sports clients and like doing specific marketing towards that meant that no one else could have an athlete client. Absolutely not. And that's why even when Jason suggested we work together, I didn't go in there like, well, he's our client now. Like Jason wants us to work together. It was very much so like, hey, I'm here. I want to help. I want to be a part of it. But like, I understand Jason gave you this client. You know what I mean? But this is more so me trying to get our bearings in that and get more of this kind of clientele. It didn't mean that no one else can do an athlete in the office. You know what I mean? Of course, we're on. Of course, we're going to get all kinds of clients. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to hit like two things at once. Now, when we say that they're not going to take accountability and you've just learned that that's something, as far as how this affects, now you're doing a job, as you said, you're there today, you're grinding in office. How does this affect like your workplace? And is there an HR who's at least like governing, like, do they get like, is there, I don't know, is there a repercussion or anything?
Yeah, I think if things got to a certain level, we do like have a handbook that Jason gave us upon joining. We don't have like an HR on staff or anything like that. For the show though, you know, like their Netflix and stuff, they do have like an HR. But in our office, no, we don't have our HR specifically. But we're independent contractors, so
I got it.
Yeah, like it's not like we're employees, you know, we're independent contractors, so it works a little differently.
Yes.
But I think Jason doesn't hesitate to let go of people if, you know, it's not a good fit or, you know, they really, really cross the lines, you know?
Yes.
So, which is why in Cabo, you saw me walk away. I didn't get this big of an opportunity to let someone, you know what I mean, provoke me to squander it all away. So, and that's why, like, sometimes I see the comments and people are like, when will Brandi, like, you know, like, I would slap her, I would do that. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. Not if you had to work as hard as I did to get this and you have the kind of clients that I have now.
Exactly. And that's why it bothered me that your actions were so misinterpreted by her as well. Because do you really think, first of all, that knowing Brandi, she would ever try to physically harm you? You know that that's not happening. And second of all...
And the scene with her mom later on in the season, she said, I didn't think she was going to hit me. I know she's going through a lot. She said it.
Like, you know, and it's like to make that comment, even in the moment, it just lacks so much awareness. And that's when her, like, because, you know, I saw on Instagram she posted like her MAGA thing, you know, like that's when you really see that come out because there's that lack of awareness that you really, it's effortless to just act like that, really. Second nature. Yeah, truly. Yeah, exactly.
And that's when I have to realize like my job is not to educate people on
no,
how to
it's
become
not.
allies. My job is not to educate people on that, but like at the end of the day, there's a bigger issue at hand there. It's very that particular instance is very dangerous. You know what I mean? And I was super apologetic to her, even when people were like, "You shouldn't apologize." Like I was texting her that night, like because you know, as you can see how I am. I'm pretty level-headed. I'm pretty mature in my manner, and I got outside of myself, and I regretted that immediately, and was texting her and apologizing for it. Right. And she accepted my apology. You know what I mean? And she understood. But then when I went back and watched it, I was like, damn, I'm not giving any grace, dude. Like, we're on reality TV. People literally throw drinks, pull hair, do all kinds of stuff on reality TV. And all I did was get a little, like, you know what I mean? And I became, like, villain number one. I was just like, dude, like, you're not an ally, you know?
100%. Because the fact of the matter is, Alex and Pauly both have the privilege to scream and yell and no one says anything and, like, wave their hands. Whereas it's just not received. And, you know, I've heard interviews where Kayla says that you know, she really did at least, I don't know presently, but she at least used to feel like the words crazy or aggressive were very much reserved for the two of you. Yeah. And were how they would talk about the two of you. So it's just like, as we said, they're not allies and they truly just lack a lot of awareness. And that's obvious in most of the conversation.
I know. And I tried. I think season 2 was me trying to educate on that. Season 2 is more so me trying to say, you know, even with me speaking out about like, hey, like, don't speak to people like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was more so like trying to educate, and things got heated, obviously, because we're drinking, we're on TV, we're high stress, we're high pressure, we're sick and freaking tired of each other from being in Cabo on a vacation with each other without my husband and my family. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors that went into it. But I just noticed the way that I wasn't forgiven for things that other people in the office are. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I see. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And even this season too, I noticed there was a moment where yourself and Jarvis were the only two people to speak up and say, the entire office is bullying. Like, this is bullying at this point. Like, this is everybody bullying collect Sean, and like him standing here and sort of defending him at everybody one at a time. And it was just crazy to me that only the two of you like noticed that as well. It's unfortunate that you have to be someone who's like simultaneously having people be condescending or rude to you, but also chiming in to be like, to try to draw attention to like, I guess, where people could be better people.
The thing is too, a lot of times on TV, it looks like people are being bullied, and we watch it back because we were there, and we get the comments. Because people thought I was a bully on season 1, and we get the comments, and people are like, "You guys bullied Rose and Jarvis. You guys bullied," and I'm just like, absolutely not. That's not what happened. So I think reality TV is edited in a way to, you know, invoke emotions out of you to get you to feel like, oh my God, they're bullying Sean. I don't think Sean, knowing the full context of everything, I don't think Sean was being bullied. I think that everybody was having disagreements. But my standpoint was like, if I hear something unfair, like I didn't like the he should sell a house. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all because I know how hard it is to come from somewhere else, to come into Orange County and to try to sell a house. It's not as easy when you have connections that are ingrained, when you're a third and fourth generation real estate agent here and your last name is known throughout the entire county. Yes. That's a little different than someone who, you know what I mean? It takes years. It takes years to start building your business, and I understand that. So I just thought that was like a childish dig. Like, Agreed. You know what I mean? Like, we all have our own different timelines. We all have our own things. So, you know, things like that, I try to stand in order and be like, go home. Like, he doesn't even work here. Like, yes, he does. Like, you know what I mean? He can disagree with you guys.
Yes.
He can voice his opinion. He can disagree with you guys. You know what I mean? But I know it's just so weird how you guys can see it like that. Because when I watch it, I don't see Sean being bullied. But that's because I know the whole scope of everything that went on.
That makes sense. So let me see here, because I have a very strong opinion on this. Since you were there, since you've experienced everything, what, if you can say, like, what was your perception of things that went on with Sean? Like, for example, Jarvis has said that she still to this day very much backs Sean, and then it seems like the rest of the cast kind of doesn't. Like, where are you at?
Very confused. And I think I'm confused also because most of the instances that they're talking about, I'm not there for.
Got it.
And even the text messages, I never read them because I try to, you know what I mean? For majority of the season, they don't show it like this, but I had Sean's back. Sean and I had phone calls. I had Sean's back because I just believe in right and wrong, and the things he was telling me was absolutely wrong. And I was just like, no, you know what I mean? I got your back. But then at that scene, the one that you think that everyone was bullying him, I started hearing some conflicting information from both sides, from him and from Tyler too. And, you know, I don't know if they show it all, but I started to kind of question, just because I tried to be kind of like neutral in the whole situation. I didn't want to just jump to one side either. So I just started hearing conflicting information that I was just like, wait a minute, I've been backing you this whole time, but like now it's starting to look like I'm confused.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That was literally it. Like, I was just confused, and we never really had a conversation to wrap that up or like figure out like what really happened there. And also, it's not my business, so I just kind of like moved on with my life. Like, I don't know what that was.
I'm not gonna get hung up on this.
I wasn't there. I didn't make no edibles for nobody. I wasn't doing so. I'm gonna mind my business.
Thank God. You know, like, thank God it wasn't like at your, you know what I mean? Thank God it wasn't at
Thank
your
God
house.
I have, like, I'm so busy, you know, with my kids and stuff like that like I don't have time for these things. I'll be damned if they'll be like, and Brandi was there. Brandi ate the edibles. Like, hell no, I don't want to.
And then I'm like, oh my God, like, I know Orange County, like, it's so conservative. Like, so I'm like seeing Sean like back, like walk back the edible thing. And I'm like, clearly he knows that clients are going to be like perturbed if they think he's doing drugs. Because some people still see it. Yes, to this day.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if there were edibles, if there weren't. I don't know if anything inappropriate or if it wasn't. At the end of the day, Austin and I just got a killer client together that I'm excited for us to work on. And like, I won't even ask him. Like, hey.
You're like, that's not a topic we're going to talk about as we handle this.
I hate that And on this show, we're not allowed to be like neutral. The producers will not let you be neutral. And that's why you guys are like, that's why you're like, where do you stand? I'm like, I really don't have a dog in this fight. Like, I don't stand anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I had his back. At the end of the day, towards the finale, as you see, I was kind of unsure, but like literally that was it. But like, I have love for Sean. Like I hate that he left and like, you know, how things ended with him. But like, yeah, I just was confused. That was it. But it wasn't my place to like, hey, I need receipts and I need you to make me not confused. Like, it's not my business.
Timeline. Yeah.
Hey, bro. Like, but Jarvis said that she saw the screenshots and everything. Jarvis is a pretty reasonable person. But at the end of the day, I think it was hard for me because I know Tyler also. You know, I've been working with them for 3 years, and Tyler does talk like that. Tyler's very much like, hey, friend, love you long time. Like, he's like that. So that's why when I started seeing that, I was like, but that's how he talks. Like, it's not a thing like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the long text messages. Dude, we're on a freaking show where we're, like, ripping each other to threads. I will literally pull up long text messages that I send to people, too. Like, it's just a part of it. It's a part of the nature. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I don't know. Some of the stuff felt like it was a little bit misconstrued.
Okay.
No. You know what I mean?
I'm going to take your into my opinion and like pocket it, because that does help me like see some experience from someone who is actually there. You know what I mean? Like, that helps add some perspective for me, because it is so easy to just like watch it on TV and, you know, come up with your own narrative, your own thought.
They only show you what they want to show you. So you only see the pieces that look like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? But then we know everything that was cut out. So we're like, yeah, but they're missing that whole lunch where we talked about this, or they're missing that whole part where I apologized to her for this. You know what I mean? So then that's why people feel the way they feel. But at the end of the day, I don't think Sean's a bad person. I don't think Tyler's a bad person either. Like, you know, I had my issues with Tyler. I told him straight up what my issues were with him. Sean and I never even got that far because I think he was just like hurt by everybody. I think he feels hurt by us, which is why he doesn't talk to any of us anymore.
Right.
But, you know.
Yeah. So people are curious about this, and you may not want to say, which is totally fair, but can you clarify, like, when people are making comments like Sean didn't sell anything all season, and even Jason or Brett, I can't tell the brothers apart. Like, I don't know how you do it.
What? So easy.
What is the trick?
Like it all.
What is the trick?
Nothing. They're just two different people. Like, I don't even see them as twins. Like, they just like look like one looks like one and one looks like the other. Like, one looks like, I don't know.
I think it's because they're never with each other. It's kind of like we only see one at a time. So I'm like, is this Brett? Is this Jason? I don't know. I don't know who it is. Who's the one at your office?
Jason.
Okay. Okay. Let me see what I was going to ask. Because that just like sent me. Oh my. Yeah. Okay. So Jason actually also added in, like, you know, Sean should just focus on selling a house. Is that reality, or like was that played up?
Absolutely. As our broker, he has every right to say that. You know, we should focus on selling real estate. You know what I mean?
Okay. Totally.
100%. It's just, like, this is a really big opportunity that a lot of agents would love to have for their businesses, and you know what I mean. So you can't take it for granted. You've got to come in and sell a house.
Okay, that's fair. And he wasn't selling, correct? Like, just to clarify.
No, he wasn't. And I don't know, you know, like what, and maybe it wasn't important to him or focused, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he was trying really hard and couldn't get anything, but he wasn't. So I think that's why the other part of the cast had like a leg to stand on with that. You know?
Got it. Okay.
There are other people, let me clarify, there are other people that you do not know that need to go sell a house too. And no one's calling them out.
It's going to be Alex Hall. Like, let me tell you, she didn't ring that bell once. She didn't do a damn thing at the meetings.
But that's why I was kind of like, I had Sean's back with that, because I was like, no, hold on. Are we going to start talking about everybody who needs to sell a house? Because, like...
Everybody go look in the mirror. Identify yourselves if we're going to be calling them out.
Everybody stop with that narrative, because it's not fair unless, you know what I mean? He's not the only one, so it's not fair. So...
It did kind of shock me to hear Jason say in one of the interviews that Rose is like one of the top sellers, just because we rarely see Rose have any listings. Like, it's just not a part of the show.
They want the drama. She says that she had a lot of real estate scenes that got cut out. I mean, I don't know what she had going on, but they want the drama for sure. So the sweet spot is if you have real estate and drama. then they want you.
Got it.
You know, but no, Rose has always been. She's been a heavy hitter here at the office ever since I joined.
Okay.
She's well connected in OC, and I think that makes a big difference when, you know, obviously trying to sell real estate. She has a lot of connections. So
I was surprised also to like watch everything back and see that she mentored Jarvis. I kind of forgot that she was there before Jarvis. I don't know why.
And I didn't know that. I don't know that. I don't want to say that's a lie, but I don't know that to be true just because when I joined, they were both already working here and already working together. So like, I didn't see it as that. I always saw a partnership. I never saw it as she was her mentor.
That makes a lot of sense because that's how Jarvis saw it. Okay.
Yeah, I think I kind of, with that, I kind of resonated with Jarvis a little bit because I was just like, I know what a mentor is, and that I don't know if that was that.
Okay.
Jarvis is very, very intelligent. As you know, she's an attorney. So, you know, I don't know if she was just, I don't know if it was that. But again, they were here before me, so I just saw them as partners.
Now, we saw season 2 that you developed a friendship with Lauren. And then somewhere, like, there's sort of like an update that Lauren said that you guys aren't friends anymore or maybe aren't as close. Would you be able to tell us in your perspective what happened there?
Oh my gosh, honestly, it's so complicated and convoluted because a lot of it goes into on camera, off camera, and stuff like that. Her and I saw that clip and I ran into her in the office and I pulled her aside and I was just like, hey, like, I don't know basically why you feel like this. Like, I do speak to you because she said on the thing, like, we're not on speaking terms. And I was like, I speak to you every time I see you. And she was like, well, I didn't mean it like that. Like, I just mean like, we don't really have like the friendship that we used to have. But I realized that she's in a really tough spot because as you can see, the office is really divided, right? And I think it takes a certain kind of personality to be able to do a dance and be like on both sides. And I think that was just really hard for her. And I don't know, she says that that's not what happened. I think she feels like I kind of like moved away from her, like on camera and outside of it, but it wasn't intentional. It was just, I think some of the factors in my friendships with Hall and Polly, it was hurtful. It was hurtful for me to see her kind of seeming like she kind of chose up, basically. I was like, well, okay, like you chose a side and you know what I mean? And you didn't have to, but I felt like that. And she was like, no, I didn't choose a side. And I'm like, well, it feels like it, you know? So that's what kind of happened behind the scenes that people didn't see. We had many scenes about that and they didn't make the show, where I was basically saying like, dude, like, you left me. You left me as a friend. And she's like, I did not leave you. You left me. And I'm like, no, I didn't. You know what I mean? So I think that was a lot that happened. But to give an update to that, we did talk in the office. It seems like one of those things, like she said in the interview, that we're just going to agree to disagree. We've been cool with each other and we kind of moved past it. It's not like if we sit there and keep going over what happened on season 2 over and over again, because I felt like she didn't have my back. You know what I mean? And she's like, no, I wasn't trying to, I just didn't want to be involved. She's like, I just didn't want to be involved. So, you know.
Both of you are right. I get both of your places.
Yeah. So, and you know, she's closer with Polly now than she used to be with me. So, you know, can you imagine if you were best friends with somebody and then, so that's why it's difficult.
And it's immediately no too, because like in my mind, I was watching it happen this season and I was like, you know, that was a question from a viewer. And in my mind, you were like, it's obvious that you would not be friends with someone who's friends with bad people or people who are at least unkind to you. And Hall and Polly aren't very kind to you. So by aligning with them or like growing closer to them, that really can't make you feel safe.
That's what hurt me. And I think that it was just hard to see, you know what I mean? So I didn't know how to kind of get that through to her. But at the same time, I can't tell her, don't be friends with them. How could you be friends with them when they're like saying these things about me or they're doing these things towards me? You know what I mean? So I tried to get her to see my point of view, and I think some things she agrees on, but some things she doesn't. You know what I mean? And that's fine. So, you know, it was a very hurtful breakup for both of us. We can both agree on that because one of our phone calls, I told her, and she was basically like, yeah, it feels like an ex-boyfriend, you know, like every time we see each other in the office, very awkward. Like, yeah, we're mature and we can speak to each other, but it's hurtful to see each other. She was like my best friend in the office, like for a long time, even before we started filming, you know.
I hate that. I hate how, and like we've seen comments online, like Ivy Podwatts was her name. She was on TikTok and she was talking kind of about Ivy. Yeah, I think I saw you reply in one of her posts actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So she was talking about how the office vibe changed as soon as cameras come in. And I can sort of gather that, like, working there, like you said, like, maybe season 1, it's imposter syndrome. Maybe season 2, you get it wrong. Maybe season 3, you're yourself. Like, it's just this, it's not easy path.
The thing is, I don't think we realize it, but there are a lot of clicks. And I didn't realize it until we went back and watched it. When season 1 came out, I was like, oh, shoot, like,
yeah.
Ew. Like, we're in a clique. You know what I mean? And I think that's why season 2, I was able to speak out and say, hey, this is a clique, basically. Like, this is what you guys are doing. You know what I mean? And it's because I used to be from the clique. So, you know what I mean? I feel like I can say that. But
yes.
like, I can see, I did agree with some of the things Ivy said. Not everything, because some of the things are not accurate. But from her point of view, the office was brand new, and of course they were going to hire on more agents. So it wasn't like we're not actors and actresses. I've been an agent for about 8 years now. Been on the show for going on 3. So I've never stepped foot in an acting type of situation whatsoever. I don't know how to act, and none of the other agents do. We are real agents that work our butts off. So, I mean, I don't know her situation, you know what I mean? What she was brought here for, but I don't, I can see, that's why my comment was, I can see how
totally
that's frustrating because I could see how we were cliques, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh yeah, like the cliques came in and the mean girls came in and she's like, dang dude, you know what I mean? But I was always nice to Ivy. Ivy and I were even on a listing together at, like early on. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to know, I think that she said, and a lot of people were asking me this, like, she sort of like made like a reference to the fact that like maybe Alli potentially, she didn't say names, but I'm going to say a name just because everybody can gather who she was talking about. That like maybe Alli was brought on and sort of like represents her story.
No.
So in that, I'll ask you, what was your perception, or how did you feel about Alli being brought in without her license and then given that coveted desk?
I didn't understand at first. I see she does bring something to our office dynamic that we need. We're all very with each other, and she does bring a little bit of reason. She brings a little bit of like Southern hospitality to us. Like I get, and at the same time, like Polly was brought here, like you don't see it on camera because when we started filming, she had her license already, but Polly was brought here without her license also. And some people come here without their license and they just they absolutely crush it.
Wow.
And, so I think that's why Jason's more open to giving some people a chance if he sees a certain thing in you. Like,
Wow.
Sean as well. I think Sean had just gotten his license right before we started season 1 also. So it isn't far-fetched, and that's why I said I don't think it's anyone else's story, because there are a few people that have this story. What I mean? That I think that might be her perception, but with me knowing a little more in detail and ins and outs of how Alli was even brought here, I don't think that was intentional by the producers to rob her story.
Okay. How is the sports directive initiative going? Like, how is that going?
Well, it's tough. But we have another agent that works with me as well. He's a retired NFL player. And him and I have been brainstorming together to figure out how we can start, getting more athlete clientele. I just recently got my marketing strategy in front of somebody really big. I'm currently working with 2 NBA clients right now, buyers, trying to find them something here in OC. But yeah, I mean, it's just Rome wasn't built in a day.
Totally.
And I think what I did on season 2 was plant a seed and put it out there because I was like, this is the direction that I want to go into. I didn't know if Jason was going to back me. I didn't know if like this was even going to become a thing, but I just said this, even if you look back on season 1, I had an NBA client on season 1.
Yes, you did.
This has always been something that I kind of felt like could be my niche, and like with my husband's connections, I'm literally at basketball. You do not know.
You're the Chargers girl.
I'm not even just that. I'm literally at basketball games day and night. Like this is just, I'm always there because of my husband, my son. Like
He said he's going to be an NBA player, SJ.
Dude, seriously. So I'm just always there was an NBA player at my son's game last weekend, like, because his son played back. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I'm around it. So any savvy business person is going to say, okay, like, why wouldn't I try to monetize my connections or try to build, you know what I mean, my business around it? So it's still very much, still trying to do something with it.
Right.
And because I don't have a blueprint or have someone to say, like, this is what you do, I think it's just a matter of time and just keeping on putting in the work, and then maybe something big happens.
It will. When something big happens, it will happen for you. It will get there. Like you said, it's not built in a day. It's taking time, but you're making these connections and you're networking, and that's important.
Yeah. And then, at the end of the day, if, let's say, Jason decides he doesn't want to have a sports division here because everybody's so catty and won't allow it to happen, at least I will have started my niche as that's my specialty, and I can, continue to hone that in. That's the only thing that I can hope for. So
absolutely, everyone needs to practice the phrase "stay in your lane," and they just need to let you do what you're doing, and that's it.
Like, it's crazy. I almost wish I could, like, throw people off and say, I want my niche to be cattle raising.
Yeah.
Are you fine with me having a division where we bring cattle in? You know what I mean? Just like so that no one's thinking about what I'm doing.
Yeah. 100%. I don't know. Like, I can't think of anything more strange than cattle, so you have me beat there. But 100%, tell them you're going to do cattle raising and see, like what?
We're gonna target farmers, and you know what I mean? And, like, just to throw people
Polly
off.
will show up with your overalls on and a pitchfork. She'll be like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. Like, get out of here, Polly.
But real estate is competitive anyway. And, like, I'm not dumb enough to think that if someone comes along with an NBA client that they're going to be like, well, I can't take him because of Brandi. Like, no, that's not what this was. What this was my hopes to start to attract that kind of clientele at our brokerage, because what they're doing is they're going to other brokerages. They're not coming to us because they don't necessarily know, that we're here and that we specialize in this. We do. So let's start showing that. And anybody else in our office who gets an athlete client, I'm not going to step on their toes, or I'm not going to be mad at them. Good. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I need.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You're trying to expand the palette of the office so that you're not just known as luxury real estate, but also luxury real estate. Like I don't even know what the word is, but big athletes, like the big names, like you said, the sports division.
It's branding. It's all branding.
Yes.
So that's it. That's all it is. It wasn't meant to, and I can see how the producers kind of made a little drama with that to make it seem like it's more of no, I'm the only person who can sell to athletes. No, this is me saying we should have a section of agents who are responsible for going out and trying to get these athletes. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yes, and I get that, and I'm supportive of you. And like I said, this is at major luxury real estate. Like, this is not just something you made up and pulled out of thin air. And even if you did, that'd be a great idea. Like, even if you did just make that.
Absolutely. One of she's not, like, I wouldn't call her a mentor, but one of the people that I look up to in real estate, she's out in Hollywood, and she specializes in athletes, and she's built a business off of it. One athlete leads to another, and now she's that go-to person, and she can be trusted with, you know what I mean? It's just a part of business.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, I know we only have a couple of minutes, so I want to end with these last two questions. Who are you closest with, and who's the most fun to hang out with outside of the office?
I definitely would say that I'm closest with Alli and Kayla.
Okay, cool.
Jarvis and I were starting to build a friendship as well, but she left. So her and I still talk as well, and I think that she's one of the most authentic people that was here, honestly. And I don't know if people really realize that, and I don't think she cares whether or not they do. That's one thing that I love about her. So yeah, I think that they're probably the most, like, that I'm the most closest to.
Okay, I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing that. What's been the most rewarding part of this for you, of the Selling OC, of the Oppenheim Group? What's been the most rewarding?
Being able to be in rooms that I would have never imagined where I joined this brokerage. Like, there's a scene when I was with Mark Webb, the Chargers player, and I told him I used to watch YouTube videos of myself I used to watch YouTube videos walking through homes like this and envisioning myself, and now I actually do them. So, like, I think that the brokerage's brand really helped me, step into that space, because without this platform of, selling those C and Netflix, it would be much, much harder to even get into, these rooms are tight knit and they're set up and they, you know what I mean? And OC, these little pockets and everything. And to infiltrate that for one, not growing up here in OC and not having like a necessary connect that's going to be like, hey, I'm bringing you with me, that would have been really, really, really hard. So yeah, I'm appreciative of that. So.
I'm glad that you got that opportunity. I cannot wait for season 4 and to see what the listing you and Austin have. Like, I can't. I'm so excited.
You're gonna, yeah.
I'm gonna swoon. Yeah. I'm already thinking of names. Like, who could it be? I did have a couple more questions, but I'm gonna wrap here because I know that you have other obligations. You're working. You're busy. Can we tell everyone where to find you on Instagram so that they can follow you and give support?
Yeah, of course. My Instagram is She's Brandi Marshall, and same on TikTok.
Yay! Follow Brandi, give her flowers, send some support, say some kind words. And if you have a luxury house to sell, is it sell or if they need one? Or is it both?
Both. Okay. Both. If you have a luxury house to sell,
perfect,
somewhere in LA or Orange County, or if you're looking to buy, contact me.
Serious inquiries only, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate when people think that I only sell like upper high millions. Like, no, like I'm honored to help someone, buy and sell at an average, price too. So
a home is a home. I love that. Well, thank you so much for making time for us today. You have been so great.